John chapter 6, verse number 5. And when Jesus looked up, he saw a great crowd coming towards him. And he said to one of his disciples, he says to Philip, where shall we buy bread for these people? This is the story of Jesus taking a little boy's lunch and multiplying this lunch. It's amazing because Jesus he's got these people that are walking with him, they're following him, and he understands that they're hungry. He understands that this is a time where they need to feast. And I just want to stop right there. This is my first little stop. And just remind you that Jesus knows your hunger. That Jesus knows the intents and the passion and the desires of your heart. Somebody say, Jesus knows. I need you to get that. I need you to get that. Because on Tuesday, you'll be tempted to believe that Jesus forgot about what's going on in your life. But Jesus sees the multitude, and Jesus sees each and every one of us in this room. And he says to his disciples, he says, where are we going to buy bread? Now, the amazing thing about this is that Jesus asked his disciples, but I believe he's also asking us. Because my question would be, how do you multiply the little that you have? How do you take the little bit that you have, the very morsel of what you have, and you say, God, how do I multiply this thing? How do I multiply in this relationship? How do I multiply the favor and the wisdom and the grace that I need? How do I multiply? The first thing he asks the disciple, he says, where do we buy bread? He says, consider the source. He tests them and he says, where are you looking to get what you need, Peter? He says, I'm sorry, not Peter. He says this to Philip. He says, where are you looking to get your bread? And the first thing we must understand, if we're ever looking to multiply something, we must always consider the source. Because here's the challenge we have. Here's the challenge we have. You have a source and you have a resource. You have a source and then you have resources. And I would say that the source is the source is the thing that provides the energy at its core. It's the source where everything comes from. And then what we have then after the source, then we have different resources, right? To do it again, little sources. So God is the source, and then he may use the job to be a resource to get you the finances that you need. But we thank God that's not the only resource that we can look to, because we're not just looking to the resource, we're looking to the source. And so what tends to happen with us is that we fall in love with the resource and forget about the source. And he's asking you today, he says, where are you looking to find the bread? Where are you looking? Are you considering the source, not the resource? Because so many times we can get so bogged down with the resources. God, how is it going to happen over here? How is it going to happen over there? And you got this, and you're an entrepreneur, and you're on your job, and you're just like, well, I know the step is that if I be nice to Timmy, then if I be nice to Johnny, then that means it'll be great for Mark, because Mark is really the source of my life. He's the boss, he's the guide, he's head of HR, and he can put a good word in, and he's the real source. And God is saying, no, he's a resource. He's not the source. And he says, if we want to begin this process of taking little boys' lunches and feeding the masses, you better first consider your source. You better first consider, where are you going to get this bread from?